Right now on News 3, an annual community Christmas meal runs out of food. It took a special someone to jump at the chance to help.
There's nothing I can do about it, so there's no reason to be negative about it.
And the power of positivity and support, it's the focus of tonight's special Do Something Good report.
This is News 3 at 10.
And thanks for joining us at 10. We're keeping an eye on some wintry weather moving our way tonight. Rain and snow, both possibilities. So we look out over the Capitol tonight. Already there was some precipitation out there tonight. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has our first alert forecast. He joins us on the backyard patio. Gary?
Well, Eric, so far here, at least at the WISC-TV studios, we've had just rain because temperatures have been far enough above freezing. Let's start out by taking a look at winter weather bulletins. If you're traveling to the north later tonight through the next couple of days, winter weather advisories are in effect for the northern third of Wisconsin, winter storm warnings north and west of the Twin Cities, even blizzard warnings over parts of the Dakota for a major winter storm system. And you can see the large shield of precipitation lifting northward. But as you look at southern Wisconsin, we're seeing a mixture of rain and snow, and most of the snow that's falling is melting as it hits the ground because temperatures are slightly above freezing. You can see here in Madison we're at 36 degrees. Even as far north as Wisconsin Dells and Viroqua, temperatures are slightly above freezing. By the time you get to Camp Douglas and Black River Falls and Wautoma, temperatures are at or slightly below freezing. That's the area that still may see a little bit of light freezing rain or some snow that will stick to the ground with some minor accumulations before that changes over to rain later on tonight. Visibilities right now, a little bit of fog in the La Crosse area. Visibilities are down to about a mile or so, but here in Madison, the winds are mixing up the air enough so that fog is really not much of an issue. Otherwise, those winds are picking up. They're out of the east right now at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. They'll be in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range by morning. In fact, as we take a look at the day planner for tomorrow, look for occasional rain. There could even be an isolated thunderstorm, but that high temperature of 48 would be just 2 degrees shy of the record high of 50 set back in 2003. That rain, though, could change to snow by late Thursday or late Friday afternoon into Friday night with some minor accumulations. I'll have more details on weather in a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. The city of Janesville says it is looking at alternatives to traditional road salt next year. The price of salt went up 24%, more than $15 a ton. The state used more than 500,000 tons of it last year. Janesville says it'll now turn to brine and other agricultural byproducts instead. Every year, the First United Methodist Church prepares food for its holiday community meal. Yesterday, the food ran out, but one man ended up saving the day. Jamie Perez joins us now with that story. Jamie?
So this is a real-life situation of not all heroes wear capes. So we all talk about special stories that come out of the holidays, but this story affected an entire community of people who will never forget this day. Every year on Christmas.
How many people do you expect to feed tomorrow?
400.
The First United Methodist Church hosts a Christmas meal for everyone.
What it's all about is community.
But what happens when this community runs out of food?
They ran out of food, and they reached out to one of our team members, Kelly LeGrand.
Jeff Turk works for the Friends of State Street Family, an organization all about helping those in need. The church reached out to their staff for help with the food shortage. While they expected around 400 people, 600 showed up, meaning 200 people would go without a meal.
We put a notice out on our Facebook pages.
Their call for help on Facebook got a lot of attention.
Red pepper cream sauce.
But one man stepped up, doing what he does best.
Dave came in and made a very special Christmas meal for a lot of people who will remember that for the rest of their lives.
Dave Heidi is the owner of Liliana's in Fitchburg. He put his own Christmas to a halt to come save the day.
I was opening up presents with my family. It was on Christmas.
When he got the call for help from the Friends of State Street staff.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to, but Liliana's is closed on Christmas, and everyone I know who owns a restaurant is also closed on Christmas, so I don't know what I can do to help. And then I looked at Lily, and she looked at me, and we were like, we could probably help.
And help he did. In fact, he went above and beyond with the meal that he made.
Turkey roulade and some mashed potatoes, and we did this artichoke green bean casserole. We did some fruit salad, some fresh baked bread.
Thanks to Dave, 200 people got to have a Christmas meal they might not have had otherwise. And thanks to Dave's generosity that caught our attention to do this story, Jeff Turk got to meet the man that made it all happen.
First time we've met officially, but I'd like to give you a hug.
Aw, I love that. How's it going, man? How
Good.
you doing?
It's nice seeing you.
200 people could have been disappointed or hungry, but instead, Christmas was nothing but
Absolute gratitude. I know that it made their Christmas special.
See what I mean? A great story to come out of Christmas. Friends of the State Street family and Hope's Home Ministry are always looking for more people to join their network of resources. If you are interested in becoming a part of those groups, they have more information online on how you can help.
Badger football team helped ring in the opening bell this morning on Wall Street. They're in New York City, of course, for tomorrow's Pinstripe Bowl against Miami. We'll have much more on that matchup coming up in sports. And maybe the Badgers brought some good luck with them today to New York. The Dow Jones rebounded from a disastrous Christmas Eve, closing up more than 1,000 points. That is the biggest single-day point gain ever. The S&P and the NASDAQ also with their best days since August 2011. President Trump and First Lady Melania on their way back to the U.S. after a surprise visit to troops stationed in Iraq and Germany. It was his first to visit soldiers in a combat zone as commander-in-chief, and comes as the president has been facing criticism for his decision to pull U.S. troops out of neighboring Syria and Afghanistan. Before flying back to Washington, he made a second stop at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. And the president will return to disagreements at home when it comes to ending the current partial government shutdown, about to enter its 6th day now. The House and Senate will return to work tomorrow to continue negotiations. The president told reporters he must have his wall to reach any sort of agreement. Right now, 800,000 federal employees are either furloughed or going to work without pay. We're going to see a lot of turnover on Madison's Common Council next year. 8 alders now have filed paperwork indicating they will not seek re-election. So that's the alders in districts 2, 3, 7, 10, 12, 13, 15, and 20. One is running for mayor. Some are moving. Some just decided it was their time to step down. Now, we talked to the alder from District 13. He had stepped in for Sarah Eskridge when she resigned. He said back then he wouldn't run again, so he's sticking to that. He said this will certainly bring some changes, especially with a potential new mayor.
It will be very interesting to see the new equilibrium the council sets. I mean, I think that if you're interested in city politics, the next year is going to be a pretty fascinating time.
Now, it is an abnormal amount of alders leaving at once. Over the past few years, the average has been closer to 4 or 5. Alder Arnson says it's just a coincidence. The deadline to file paperwork saying you are not running for re-election has already passed, so we shouldn't see anyone making that announcement that they're not running again. If you're interested in replacing one of them, the deadline to file your paperwork is January 2nd. At least 2 people hurt in an explosion inside a high school in Indiana. The blast happened near the gym at Carmel High School. That's just north of Indianapolis. Local reports say it may have come from a mechanical room. Firefighters say the blast happened while contractors were working on a heater. Dozens of animals were killed in a large barn fire. This was in northeastern Wisconsin this morning. Happened in Shawano County in the town of Red Spring. The fire department says 30 cows, a horse, some cats, dogs, and chickens were all inside. The cause of the fire has not been determined, but it is not believed to be suspicious. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office trying to find the person who aimed a laser pointer at a UW Medflight helicopter yesterday. That is a federal crime. The helicopter was responding to an UTV crash in the town of Scott. Weather issues caused it to be rerouted to Partyville. The Medflight crew says a laser pointer then followed the helicopter around the area. The crew had to return to Madison without the patient. The pilot had to be checked out by an eye doctor, but is now said to be okay. Just ahead on News 3 at 10, your full forecast, including more above average temperatures.
Not counting down the years, it'll be a lot better.
And the community of Fort Atkinson making sure she stays positive by surrounding her with unending support. A special Do Something Good story is next.
It takes a team to do this. This is not one person, it's not 5 people. It's literally the team of family and friends who have been so supportive.
That's right. There's something to be said about strength in numbers. Charlotte shares a special Do Something Good story with us tonight.
When a friend or family member falls on hard times, you want to help, but sometimes you just don't know how. That's what's happening right now to a young lady in Fort Atkinson. But instead of just her immediate circle of loved ones helping her, the entire community has come together to do something really good.
Wrap them in the bucket. We also have raffles going here and all the way down this line.
It's a busy day at Busy Barns.
$2 a ticket. Your best deal is to give them a $20 bill.
Hundreds of people, try 700, packed this Fort Atkinson business on a Sunday morning.
The crowd is absolutely phenomenal.
Even Santa and Mrs. Claus were there to see the kids, and the Grinch showed up too, but not for the pancakes.
She's just a really special person.
Everyone is here for Leslie.
Like I said, this isn't all about money. I'd love to say that we're going to make enough to make a difference, so to speak, but it isn't all about money, and I can't stress that enough. It really is about support.
It's really hard. I like to help people in a pinch, or being the one that's just offering help, and it's hard to take it.
Leslie found out this summer she has brain cancer.
They call it the AA, but it's angioplasty astrocytoma, something to that effect.
It's rare and it's aggressive.
They've wanted to know if I want to know the years, and I said no. I don't think anyone wants it to know, like, there's a timer, but I don't know.
The 33-year-old is choosing to stay positive through it all for one reason.
And I don't want my daughter to see me, negative. I don't want her to be negative about it.
This is Rylan. She's 7 and the love of Leslie's life.
She knows that I have cancer, and I've told her that I've got to take medicine that might make me sick, and that I might lose some hair, and I have to go to the doctor every day, but I'll be coming home every night. And that's basically because I don't want to give her too much of the what ifs.
So life for the single mom in Rylan goes on as normal as possible. And that means the Christmas tree is up and they spend time playing with Rylan's babies.
This one's name is Charlotte.
Rylan has been blessed with the gift of gab and giggles, and she's quick to share her love of Disney World, where she'd like to go back with her mom someday.
Leslie, are you mad at all? I was. Sometimes, but I think I I pray every day that I get to see Rylan grow up and have kids, but no one's guaranteed that, so I don't think that there's a right to be mad because of that. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So I don't think it's fair to be mad about it. It's just, it is what it is. So
through all this, Leslie's perspective on life has become more clear. She's learned of all the friends, family, and complete strangers who care about her, the importance of slowing down and showing gratitude before it's too late.
Very thankful, and I always feel like I have been, but I'm more so now, or making sure that people who are important to me know that they're important versus just assuming that they know.
She's especially grateful for special moments like this.
Sometimes in the morning I go in her bed and then we snuggle. Mostly it's too late.
But on this morning, Leslie is given the best medicine possible, unwavering support from a very busy barn filled with people who proudly call themselves Team Leslie.
I want her to see how many people love her, respect her, and find her to be just an amazing woman and mother.
A team determined to support Leslie every step of the way so she can see the dream in her heart come true.
I would want to live to be a grandma. Yeah.
Thank you, Team Leslie, for doing something good. Rylan is not watching this story, and she has very limited information. So if you know Rylan or your kids know her, please be mindful and protective of what you do now know. And Leslie, I know for a fact that your team is getting even bigger now. We've got you. If you know of someone, a business or organization doing something good, please let me know. Send a nomination at channel3000.com/do-something-good.
Charlotte, thank you. And we turn now to Gary, who's been monitoring a storm system as it moves through Wisconsin. Gary, what's the latest?
You know, right now we've got a mixture of rain and snow over parts of southern Wisconsin, and a lot of it is just dependent on the temperature. You can see here in Madison, we're still at 36 degrees. That's unchanged since 6 o'clock. Janesville at 37. To the north, temperatures are closer to freezing. Wisconsin Dells at 33, Camp Douglas 33, and then you get to 32 at Black River Falls and 31 degrees in Wautoma. That's the area that might see still a little bit of light freezing rain or some snow that could accumulate for an inch or two before it eventually changes over to rain. Now, already we're seeing pockets of rain mixed in with the snow. Even areas that are showing snow here, if snow is falling from the clouds, it's likely melting as it hits the ground because temperatures are above freezing. Farther to the south and west, notice mainly rain across Iowa, and that rain-snow line will continue to lift northward. Now, farther to the north, this area here will stay mainly snow for much of the event, and winter weather advisories are in effect north of Wausau into the Rhinelander and areas around Eau Claire. And then north and west of there, winter storm warnings for heavy snow of 6 to 12 inches from western Minnesota through far northwestern Wisconsin. Some lake effect snow might kick in here, as well as the Keweenaw Peninsula of upper Michigan. That area could see some heavy snows as well. Blizzard warnings are in effect farther to the west over parts of the Dakotas. The computer models continuing to indicate a swath of about 6 to 12 inches of snow in that area, several inches through northern Wisconsin. These amounts that you see here in southern Wisconsin mainly are going to be at the end of the storm, and that's going to be late Friday afternoon into Friday night. The European computer model, pretty much the same story. Maybe an inch around here at that time, but farther to the north, that threat for heavy snow continues. So if you're traveling north of the Eau Claire and Wausau and Twin Cities area, that's the area that you really have to watch over the next couple of days. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. You can see a little bit of a haze in the lights here. A lot of that is just rain or some drizzle, as well as a little bit of fog. Low this morning, 25. Our high temperature, balmy 39, and we're at 36 now. The rain has stopped here in Madison. Skies are cloudy, winds out of the east-southeast at 11 miles per hour. Temperatures are definitely below freezing across the northern portion of Wisconsin. To our south, those temperatures have been climbing into the lower 40s, and as this rain and snow shield continues to lift toward the north, the southern part of the storm bringing severe weather over parts of Texas with tornado and severe thunderstorm watches there. The storm system is right where the jet stream is taking a big turn that spins up the storm basically right over the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle areas, and then this storm will track just to our west, keeping us on the mild side of the storm, where temperatures tomorrow could climb into the 40s. High temperatures today were in the 50s as far north as northern Kansas, so that just gives you an idea how balmy it is farther to our south. 34 maybe here in Madison, but then temperatures will rise. The mixed precipitation will change over to rain in all areas by morning. Tomorrow, look for a high of 48. Record high for tomorrow is 50, set back in 2003. We could even see an isolated thunderstorm with the rain. On future track, you can see by morning, everybody should be in the rain with temperatures in the upper 30s. During the day tomorrow, high temperatures in the upper 40s with showers or perhaps even an isolated thunderstorm. Showers tomorrow night, and then on Friday, notice that high of 41. That's in the morning, and then the temperatures drop into the 30s, and we change over to snow. But by that time, the bulk of the snow will be farther to our north and east. Otherwise, look for about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain over the next couple of days before it changes over to snow for Friday night. Then after that, a cold weekend, a little bit of a warm up for New Year's Eve, some flurries as a cold front comes through right about the time the new year comes in, and then we drop to 21 degrees on New Year's Day. Temperatures stay mainly in the 20s for next week with some light snow or freezing rain about Thursday, and then another cold shot toward the following weekend.
All right. Going to be interesting tomorrow, though, with possible thunderstorms and those warmer temperatures.
Won't seem like late December, huh?
No, it sure won't. Gary, thanks. The Badgers get an up-close look at Yankee Stadium on the day before the Pinstripe Bowl. A report from Melissa Kim in New York, just ahead in sports.
The Pinstripe Bowl is finally upon us. The Badgers and Miami Hurricanes scheduled to kick off just after 4:15 Central Time tomorrow afternoon at Yankee Stadium. Melissa Kim is with the Badgers in New York and gets us ready for the 9th edition of the Pinstripe Bowl.
Well, we're less than 24 hours away from kickoff between Wisconsin and Miami Part 2, but this year's game is going to be a little different than last year's Orange Bowl. For starters, the Badgers getting their last practice in at Yankee Stadium earlier today, and as tradition goes, the seniors carried off of the field by their classmates. Now, one of the biggest differences this year for Wisconsin will be at quarterback. Jack Cohn shedding his red shirt to start the Pinstripe Bowl. And just an hour away from his hometown, well, he couldn't be more thrilled.
I'm going to have a lot of family and friends there, and everyone's texting me and saying they're coming to the game, and I'm super excited for it. I think it makes me a little more excited knowing that all my families and friends are going to be there, so it's going to be a cool experience.
You come and you look forward to the opportunity to play the game, and certainly, like I said earlier, you want to balance it out and take in all that the bowl is offered. But absolutely, the day before and day of, it's all about the game.
Earlier this month, linebacker TJ Edwards told us that after the way the Axe game ended this year's senior class is now really hungry to end their careers with a win and stay undefeated in bowl games. In New York City, Melissa Kim, News 3 Sports.
The first Big Ten team to play a bowl game this season, Minnesota against Georgia Tech in the Quick Lube Bowl at Ford Field in Detroit, and Mohamed Ibrahim rushed for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as PJ Fleck says, roll the boat, Sky Uma, go Gophers. Minnesota 34, Georgia Tech 10. The Packers have interviewed Beloit's Jim Caldwell and Chuck Pagano to be candidates to be their next head coach, and they placed defensive lineman Kenny Clark on injured reserve. The final game of the season, Sunday against the Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field. We're expecting Aaron Rodgers to play again as the Packers hope to finish a disappointing season with a 2-game winning streak. So, Aaron, how's it been going trying to get along with all those young guys in the Packers locker room?
Well, I'm not going to start playing Fortnite or any of this other crap they're playing, but I've said over the years, you get back from a meeting, you have a break, and people are looking at their phone and Instagram, so you got to stay up to date with what's going on. You got to check your feed and be aware of the social world, what's going on, so you can have conversations with them.
Our next Prep Mania game of the week, a week from Friday, boys basketball on the Big 8, Madison, La Follette, and Madison East. We'll have the game live on channel3000.com, 7:15 p.m. Friday, January 4th. And in Dallas today, Boston College and Boise State in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. Boston College had a 7-0 lead until this. Whoa, a nasty line of thunderstorms rolled through the Metroplex, and they never left, so they canceled the game with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. And we'll be right back.
Well, we've got rain and snow moving across parts of our viewing area right now. Temperatures very close to the freezing mark. You can see here in Madison 36, but closer to freezing up toward the Dells. After that, look for a warm day tomorrow, highs in the upper 40s, maybe even a thunderstorm, and then colder weather as we head into the new year.
All right, be safe out there. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.